Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 4, and yeah, I'm afraid to say I have a few concerns with a couple of trends that I have noticed with the car pass. Now that's not to say that the car pass has featured no cars that I like. There's several that I really love, and even a couple that I quite like, but yeah, I have noticed a worrying trend or two going on with the car pass, and considering we're only got about 9 weeks or so left in terms of the amount of cars we've got, so that's about 18 cars. It's looking like this car pass has been filled with one too many, not only cars that are fully tuned to the point where you can't really do anything with them, but also cars that are very similar to other cars that are already featured on the game. Primarily they are the likes of the Lamborghini Gallardo Spider Performante, the 650S Spider from McLaren, and the Peel Trident, which are either which are just mainly heavier versions of cars that we already have, especially in the case of the Peel Trident and the McLaren Spider. Now the Peel Trident is slightly quicker than the Peel P50, but considering it can still only do 47 mile an hour, it's really not a big enough difference to really care about. And at the end of the day, it is heavier by about 50 pounds or so. And then the 650S Spider, unlike the Lamborghini, isn't even able to go driving around in its convertible form, so it's really pointless. It's only it's slightly heavier than the standard 650S, so therefore it's slower, it's not as good in terms of handling, and yet you can't even enjoy it as a convertible. It just seems completely pointless. And then even though Lamborghini I do actually quite like, it's again like the McLaren way, it's heavier version of a car that we already have. Now granted this is in convertible form, so it's a bit less annoying than the McLaren, but at the end of the day I would have preferred a brand new kind of Lamborghini to the series, or a returnee of one that we've had before. I don't think that we've actually had any non-returnees in terms of Lamborghinis, so yeah, and a Lamborghini we never had before would have been preferable. And then in case of the cars that are wholly tuned, that to the point where you can do very little with them, the likes of this Honda Civic Coupe GRC, the Maserati GT Liberty design, you got these Gymkhana ones, and then you've got this other Ducati Silverado Chevrolet. It's just a bit annoying really, because this truck for instance can only really do drifting, and now that's obviously something that a lot of people like doing, but to have a vehicle that's solely about that is a bit restrictive to other people. And then these hoonigan vehicles, I just don't like them, to be honest. They have their place in the game, but I don't see the reason why we have to have so many of them. We already had several already in the game. We had the Mustang and a few others, so I don't really see the point of putting two more on, especially when, you know, again, I'd rather have the standard versions. Granted, we do have the standard version of the Escort, but I'd rather have a standard version of a 70s Ford F-150, to be honest, because it's again a car that we've never had on a previous Forza game before. So yeah, I just have there's my real main concerns, and considering, like I said, we haven't got all that many weeks left, we've got about 9 weeks left. These two Hondas are the final two before it gets updated again before Christmas, which I'm fine with. I actually like the look of this Honda Civic RS and the Honda S2000, even though we have the CR version on this game. They're different enough to, you know, give reason to have them both on the game. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to them too. But this week is a real disappointment, which is why I'm not going to review either of these cars, because I just don't see the point. Last week's was good. I like the Ferrari FXX, even though I think it's more of a track car. It's still a pretty damn quick car. I love the C-Type. Really like the Aston Martin Vantage, even though I have a couple of concerns, but it's certainly better than the 650S. These two Vauxhalls were really rather good. The Stelvio was really good. Not much of a fan of the Maverick, I'm afraid. Then these Gymkhana vehicles were a complete disappointment. These two were alright. Yes, I have my concerns about them, but the Mustang at least is able to be upgraded to some degree, more than it is already. So I don't have as much problem with that, or the Lamborghini. But again, I would have rather had something else from Ford and something else from Lamborghini, to be honest. The i8 Roadster, again like the Lamborghini, is just a heavier version of a car we already have. So yeah, it's not quite as again a problem as a McLaren, because again it is in its convertible form, but again, I'd rather have something from BMW we've never had before, because BMW have a long car history and there's plenty of cars we've never had from them before. So again, I'd rather have something again from them. These two Porsches I really liked. Granted, the 356A is again a car we have a sort of a version of, we have a convertible version of, but the looks are completely different and there's more power in this, so again, I'm fine with that. I like the RX-7, even though again it is a slightly different version to a car we already have, but again it's different enough to have its own place on this game. Wasn't much of a fan of the Sentra, but it's a brand new car that we've never had on the series before. I know we had the another version of the Sentra in Forza Motorsport 4, but we've not had this version of the Sentra, so I'm fine with that. And then yeah, Triumph, good to see them return from Forza Motorsport 4. And yeah, the Agera RS may well be the RS version of an Agera we already have, but this is massively different to the standard Agera, so again, no real issues with that. So yeah, the car pass is overall still strong, but there's been a couple of weeks here and there that have been really rather weak, to the point where, you know, I have no reason to review them or have no desire to review them because I just have nothing to say about them. But definitely we'll be reviewing the S2000 and the Civic RS, because they are two cars I actually quite like. Though again, I have never heard of the Civic RS before, but that's why I like car passes that have cars in them that I've never had in a Forza game before, or returnees, so I can review them at least. Especially cars that we never had before, which again I've not heard of, because I've not heard of every car, so it's nice to see cars that I've never heard of be featured. So yeah, I do hope the final month or so of the car pass is improved, because, you know, I've spent money on this. Obviously I didn't have to spend money on it. It is obviously a gamble to spend money on the car pass before you know what's coming out, but at the end of the day I would have, you know, preferred cars that, you know, aren't just slightly different versions to ones we've already got. Anyway, I'd like to hear your views on the car pass. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as me, if not more. But if you haven't enjoyed it as much as me, then I kind of feel your pain, to be honest, because yeah, I do have my reservations and I do hope that it gets better. Now, obviously we do have Fortune Island coming out on, I think, the 13th of December, which should have some new cars in that. I know it has a Lamborghini Urus, for instance, the full production version, not the concept that we've long had on Forza games. So we've got that to at least look forward to, but I do hope there are more cars, especially if there are some barn finds. They should be good. But yeah, I do hope the car pass picks up and yeah, gets back to the way it was, because the first few weeks were superb. It was really up until it took up until the 19th of October for it to start to get a bit bad, but then it picked up again, got bad, picked up, got a little bit bad, picked up, then got bad and got picked up again. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster, but on the whole it has been a good car pass so far. I just hope it gets even better. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.